I'm Kathleen, standing on the balcony of my 22nd floor apartment in Brooklyn Heights, sipping a cup of steaming coffee. I gaze at the Manhattan skyline in the distance. The glass towers catch the morning sun, as if the city is silently welcoming me. It's been a year since I left that painful past behind, and now I'm Nora Reed, an organizational restructuring consultant. A year ago, I was still Kathleen Miller, the wife of the prominent attorney, Henry Thompson. I remember that night at the Ritz-Carlton ballroom like it was yesterday. I stood at the edge of the dance floor, my fingers tightening around a champagne glass. The crystal lights from the ceiling glinted off my sapphire blue satin dress, making me look like the perfect wife on the outside. But inside, I was shattering. Right in front of me, Henry was dancing the tango with a young woman named Lily Stone, a junior associate at his law firm, Thompson and Clark. Just a week ago, he told me she was just an up-and-coming employee. Now, her body was pressed against his, and her lips grazed his cheek with every turn. I used to love Henry's dancing. His confident steps and firm grip used to make me feel special. It was 10 years ago when I was a junior architecture student that I fell for him. But now, those same eyes that once melted me were lost in someone else. A voice beside me said, "They make a beautiful couple." It was Carol, the wife of Henry's long-time partner. She always knew when to strike. I forced a thin smile and replied, "Lily seems very dedicated to her career advancement." Carol raised an eyebrow, waiting for me to lose my temper. But I didn't give her the satisfaction. I simply clinked my glass against her martini and turned away. I slipped into the powder room. Looking at myself in the mirror, I saw a woman with a tight bun, red lips, and dull eyes. The woman full of dreams and passion was long gone. I used to dream of designing free-spirited homes, but now I lived in a picture-perfect house with a broken marriage. Then, I saw a message on my phone from my best friend, Ryan. We've known each other for 18 years. He was the only one who knew I'd been planning this moment for 5 months. "Cars ready. Rear exit lot 3, it said. Ryan always told me, "Kathleen, you don't need a big scene to reclaim your freedom. You just need the right moment to leave." I took a deep breath, adjusted my diamond earrings, and stepped out. The orchestra had shifted to a slow tune. Henry and Lily were still dancing, lost in their own world. I walked through the crowd and stood where Henry couldn't miss me. When he saw me, his gaze wavered. Lily turned too, and for a moment, I saw doubt in her eyes. "Kathleen," Henry stammered, "Lily and I were just discussing a legal strategy, right?" I cut in softly. "Carry on." I calmly placed my champagne glass on a table, then took out the platinum wedding band he'd given me on our 3-year anniversary. Without a word or a tear, I laid the ring on the table. The sound was soft yet sharp, like the first crack in a mask. "Keep dancing with her, Henry," I whispered. "You won't notice when I disappear." I walked away without looking back. A gray Lincoln was waiting at lot 3, with Ryan behind the wheel. As I got in, he asked, "You bring the old phone?" I handed him the iPhone Henry used to track me. "Powered off, location still on." Ryan smiled and tossed it into a black bag with other devices I'd prepared. When that bag went into the river tomorrow, any trace of me would be gone. Ryan asked, "You sure about this?" I replied, gripping my bag, more than ever. Inside the bag were a new ID, an unactivated phone, and a folder. Ryan had helped me prepare for months. My new identity was Nora Reed, born in 1988 in Des Moines, Iowa. I had a degree in strategic management and a background in operations consulting for mid-sized firms. When I first mentioned disappearing, Ryan was silent for a long time. We dated in our freshman year of college, but time and choices separated us. I married Henry and Ryan went into cyber security. He always said love was a luxury in a world full of data threats. But when I said I wanted to vanish, he said, "If you're going to do it right." He helped me open a business bank account under my new name. We transferred money in small amounts from a personal account Henry never checked. I sold part of my design studio through a legal entity Ryan set up and funneled the money into a Swiss business account. We hired a financial expert and a discreet attorney to handle all the ID changes, asset transfers, and get a new passport. We reached a remote guest lodge. Ryan said, "Medical card, social security, Portland residency papers, they're all in your suitcase. You'll stay here tonight. Tomorrow, my sister's contact will get you to the airport. You'll stop in Denver and change names again. Nora Reed is just a bridge." When we parked, Ryan gave me a new phone with no GPS or social apps. "Only use it to call me if it's urgent. From now on, you're Nora. No turning back," he said. I looked at him, seeing the absolute trust in his eyes, something Henry never had. "Thank you, Ryan," I said. He just nodded. I entered the room, opened my suitcase, and placed the Nora Reed ID beside the photo of my mother. She used to say, "You can be anyone as long as you choose the right time to begin." This was my new beginning. The next morning, I opened the encrypted laptop Ryan had prepared. It held a file I'd spent many sleepless nights gathering. It all started when I found a bank letter about a secondary mortgage loan addressed to me as a co-owner of our $2 million house in Westchester County. The house had been fully paid off in the second year of our marriage, mostly with the inheritance from my grandmother. But Henry had taken out a $700,000 loan against it 5 months ago without telling me. I called Ryan in a panic. He came over with data recovery tools. He warned me, "Kathleen, if you dig deeper, you may not like what you find." I nodded. I wanted the truth. Within 20 minutes, we found encrypted files on Henry's laptop. He'd made secret investments under a shell company, Thompson Strategic Investments. None of the investments involved joint assets, and he'd never shared any reports with me. Worse, the mortgage money had been split and transferred to 3 private accounts in Miami, one owned by Lily. I started collecting evidence: bank statements, emails, the mortgage agreement, and security camera footage of Lily visiting a penthouse Henry rented in Miami. There was also a receipt for a ruby jewelry set Lily wore at the firm's event, and a hotel reservation receipt from a night I was home hosting a family dinner. I saved all the files, encrypted them, and uploaded them to a secure cloud system Ryan set up. He said, "If you don't log in within 72 hours, all this data will go to Henry's law partners, the state bar, and a financial journalist I know." I knew Henry had been planning a life without me for over a year, using my money and trust. I decided not to confront him. I just needed to disappear and let him face the consequences of his actions. 2 days later, I was in a climate-controlled box truck driven by an older woman named Martha. She didn't ask questions. Ryan had said she'd take me to a cedarwood cabin in the Appalachian Woods in North Carolina, a place with no cell signal or Wi-Fi. There, a behavior specialist named Ava helped me transform into Nora. She taught me how to walk, speak, and even smile differently. I dyed my hair auburn and changed to green contact lenses. I practiced new responses and fabricated memories about my new identity. A psychologist, Dr. Lisa, helped with the internal transformation. She asked me deep questions, and I answered truthfully. By the 6th day, I developed Nora's reflexes. Ava gave me a file with a driver's license, an employee badge, and financial records under the name Nora Reed. "You're ready," she said. "Kathleen Miller is gone. You're Nora now." A month after becoming Nora, I was living in a small apartment in Portland. Every morning, I'd check the progress of Henry's downfall. Ryan triggered the emergency data package a week after I left. Just a few days later, I learned that investigators were moving in on Henry. 3 weeks later, the news reported that attorney Henry Thompson was under investigation for financial fraud related to Thompson's strategic investments. A month after that, he was convicted on 3 counts and sentenced to 5 years in federal prison, eligible for parole in 3 if he cooperated. Now, as I look at the city, I know real freedom comes from facing the past without being controlled by it. I'm Nora Reed, a strong and independent woman, and I'm living the life I've always deserved.